Last week I made a video for parents and family members of autistic children to help them prepare for the Christmas period. It's this video here. You should go and watch it. But one of the big things that people ask for off the back of that is a similar video aimed at autistic adults. That's what this video is. If you are an autistic adult or you know an autistic adult and want to get prepared for Christmas, this is the video for you. And of course, if you are here because you're specifically looking for these tips, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on. I do make videos along these lines fairly regularly, and there's going to be more of this kind of stuff coming in the new year as well, as we start to shift up the focus of the channel just a little bit. And if you are glad to see content like this being made, if you're happy that this video exists, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me as well. It massively helps out the video, the channel, in the algorithm. It's going to drag more people into the video. And of course, share it out to anybody who you think might benefit from it. But it's not a sales pitch. That's the sales pitch over. We need to get into the meat of the video. Before we do, though, I do just need to put out a little disclaimer about the rest of the content of the video, because the one I made last week, tips for parents for autistic children, was relatively easy for me to do because I have an autistic child. Doing this one, tips for autistic adults, a little bit harder for me to do. Now, I am going through the autism diagnosis process at the moment for myself. I'm reluctant to self-diagnose, although people have suggested that maybe I could, and just self-diagnose and start referring to myself as an autistic adult. I've been reluctant to do that. There'll be more on that in a future video. But for now, I'm very much operating along the lines of I'm not an autistic adult, therefore it's harder for me to make a video specifically for autistic adults because not all of this stuff applies to me. So what I've done is gone to the National Autistic Society. Their link is down in the description below. I recommend you check them out. And I've taken a lot of influence and inspiration from the content that they've produced for autistic adults, and kind of followed their lead with a lot of this stuff. So if you want to find out more, they're definitely the place to go. And by all means, as with last time, fill the comments section below with your tips for, I don't want to say surviving Christmas, having a good Christmas as an autistic adult. Now, the Autistic Society on the documents that they produced about this split Christmas for autistic adults up into 4 categories. So I'm going to do the same. The 4 categories are preparing, scheduling, decorating, and presents. So let's get into preparing, which is by a long way the most comprehensive section, because preparation leads into all of those other ones. If you're properly prepared, you can sort of create yourself a good Christmas. Things going wrong are going to come from lack of preparation. So if we get this preparation right, everything else, theoretically, as long as the other people involved cooperate, should lead to a much better Christmas for everybody involved. So the big first part of preparation is to plan everything in advance. Start planning your Christmas as early as possible, using whatever means work for you. I mean, for me personally, I like visual aids, so I have my my week planner that I use every week for my work and also for personal stuff and things. So you can see that I've got on my week planner, it tells me that it's the Christmas holidays. It tells me when Christmas Day is. It's the 26th for us because of the kids. It tells me what videos I'm making throughout that. It's, you know, I know what's going on because I've got my visual planner. I also have my diary as well. So I've got a good idea of what's happening and when and with who over Christmas. And that's planning that started back in like October. We were starting to plan where we were going to be, on what days, who with, who were the girls with this year, where we were going to have Christmas dinner. And the planning and preparation starts early. So the closer we get to the big day, the more we know what's coming and we can sort of adjust and make accommodations for that. Now, a lot of that we've done because of Andy, and we need to start preparing him. But I mean, I find it helpful that it prepares me as well. I know what's going on. And on that note of preparing in advance and knowing where you're going to be and when and with who, as part of that process, if you are going to meet friends and family or going out to various places, let the people involved know what they can do to make it a better experience for you. If you really, really hate flashing Christmas lights, let them know, or just say, look, I really don't like Christmas lights because of would it be okay if when we come over we just turn them off, or have it set so they don't flash, just have them on all the time, or whatever's going to make it more appropriate for you. If Auntie Mabel loves blasting out Christmas music with the volume cranked up to 11 on her stereo, maybe just drop Auntie Mabel an email or give her a ring before Christmas and say, look, I really struggle with the loud music. Would it be possible for us to just have it a little bit quieter? Or could there be a room in the house where maybe there isn't any loud music? Or would it be okay for me to bring my ear defenders, or whatever it might be? Work out where you're going to be, what's going to be going on, and what can be done by everyone involved to make it a more comfortable experience. I do recommend, as we've mentioned with Auntie Mabel's house, but with all houses, anywhere you might be, try and make sure that it's somewhere where there is a Christmas-free area where you can go and just have a break, get away from it all. As a dad, for me, I'll go and sit on the toilet for half an hour because that's what dads do. Or you could go to your bedroom for a bit, or maybe have an office area that doesn't have loads of Christmas stuff going on, but just somewhere where you can get away from Christmas and just have a little bit of a break from it, and just kind of have a calm down and a decompress, and let people know that that's something you're probably going to need to do during the day. Chances are, if they're people you've spent Christmas with before, they'll already know that you struggle, and they might have seen some of the stuff you tried to do in the past to make it better. And I don't think anyone's going to be upset or annoyed that you might need to go and sit in a different room for an hour halfway through the day, because it's either that or you go home or you're done. By managing your exposure to the huge sensory inputs, and just the general stress of having loads of people around the whole time that you're supposed to be talking to, it can be the sort of difference maker between you participating in the rest of the day and not. And people will understand that. And if they're not understanding it, send them this video and that will help them understand. Taking a slightly different tack to planning and preparation. I know a lot of autistic adults can sometimes struggle with budgeting and finance and money. And it would be a good idea to maybe work with someone who usually helps you manage money and things like that, or just make sure that it is something that's budgeted for. Don't leave it until December to start buying Christmas presents and worrying about how you're going to pay them. Plan it in advance. Get a Christmas budget in mind. Stick to the budget. Agree the budget with the rest of the family. I mean, it's what we do in my family. Me and Anna know how much we're spending on each other because we agreed it in advance. We have budgets that are set between the rest of the family, my dad, my brother. We all know how much we're going to be spending on each other so that nobody overspends, because, I mean, it's good advice for everybody. That's not just advice for autistic adults. That's good advice for everybody. Set budgets and stick to them, because that way you're not going to get to January and find out you've got no money left because you got overexcited and kept buying stuff that's the perfect present. And you'll see some of the stuff that I've got for various people. I am really guilty of this, and as much as I'm saying set a budget now, I'm thinking about it and I've blown through my budget. I've gone a little bit over the top, and I'm probably going to regret it in January because I've probably spent too much money and haven't necessarily stuck to those budgets that we were just talking about. So practice what I preach, not what I do. And on that note, when it comes to shopping, obviously shopping centres are awful at this time of year. They're awful all the time. They're double awful at this time of year because they're busier, they're louder, they've got the flashing lights, they've got all the weird Christmas smells. Just minimise going to them as much as you can. If you've got to go to a shopping centre, go at quiet times. Try and get it done early before it's super, super busy. But to be honest, I would suggest just try and do most of it online. We did 95% of our Christmas shopping online this year. We did have a little trip earlier in the week where we nipped and got a few last minute bits from places we couldn't shop at online, mainly Primark. We wanted to get some Primark pyjamas. And, going to Primark at any point of the year can be horrific because of the queues and how busy it is in there. That's why we went on a Wednesday morning? It was at a time when we knew they wouldn't be busy deliberately. I'm not walking around Primark on a Saturday afternoon for anybody. So under the scheduling banner then, a couple of tips here for you. Tip number 1 is try and keep your Christmas schedule as close to your normal schedule as possible. You don't need to wake up at a different time, eat all your meals at a different time. on the same day as you're also going to different places and hanging out with different people. There's some stuff that's going to be non-negotiable that has to change. So I would suggest trying to make the other stuff as close to normal as possible. And, you know, so that could be keeping it like your normal daily schedule. It could be following a normal Christmas schedule. But just don't try and change too much in one go, in 1 year, because it is asking for trouble trying to change too much in one go. And on that note, maybe look to introduce Christmas gradually. I'm still, just like I was in the video we made last week, I'm still absolutely claiming that the reason we've not got all our decorations up yet is because we're introducing Christmas gradually. It's not because we're too lazy to put the decorations up. But I actually think it has been better for doing it this way, albeit coming from a place of laziness. But the fact that we put the tree up and then we'll put some other bits up and then we'll add the advent calendars and then the presents will start coming, it doesn't massively change all in one go. And I think it is better to do it that way. Ease yourself into Christmas rather than going straight from no Christmas to Christmas just like that, because it's such a jarring change. That tip actually comes up again under the topic of decorations, so I don't need to cover that one off again. Again, under decorations, have a decoration free section of the home. We only decorate one room in our house. We go Christmassy in the living room, the rest of the house not Christmassy. So if we're fed up of Christmas, we can just leave the room and it's not Christmas anymore. I think that is really important. And on the topic of decorations, make sure everyone in the family knows what you like and what you don't like. If you don't like flashing lights, don't have flashing lights. There's no law about Christmas that says you have to have flashing lights. We don't have flashing lights on our tree because it annoys Andy. We have lights that gently and slowly turn on and off. If you didn't like that, we could just have them on solidly. The ones we've got outside are on solidly, and because they're directly under his bedroom window, and he's fine with that. But if there's any variation in the light at all, he can't sleep. If you don't like sudden unexpected noises, don't have loads of Christmas decorations that start singing as you walk past them. It's about making sure that you're not making things harder for yourself than they need to be because you feel like you should because it's Christmas. If you hate some aspects of Christmas and some aspects of the decoration, don't do those parts. If the rest of your family love them, then that's where having them limited to certain areas in the house is a way to come to some kind of compromise. So if you've got a family who absolutely love singing, dancing penguins, okay, that's fine, but can we not have the singing and dancing penguins in the rooms that I'm in? Because singing, dancing penguins are just going to do my head in. Let's put those in the dining room, not the living room. Is that okay? And then lastly, presents. Presents can be super stressful at Christmas, both in terms of not being able to think of anything that you want, and then the stress of not knowing what you're going to get and the surprise and the, okay, if I don't know what they're getting, I don't know what to get them, and it can all become an absolute mess. So the easiest thing I would suggest is make a Christmas list. Amazon wish lists are great for this. I've made an Amazon wish list every year for like the last 15 years that I just send out to everybody who might want to get me a present. It's not, I think it can, if you do it without discussing why you're doing it in advance, I guess it could come across as a little bit rude, a little bit demanding, as a bit weird. You're asking for presents, but if it's someone who you know is going to get you a present anyway, have a conversation with them. Look, not knowing what I'm getting stresses me out. Would it be okay if I sent you a list? It's not a list specific, and this is something I always say to people. This list isn't specific to you, so I don't want you to get offended that there's a £300 gift on there when you normally only spend a tenner. This isn't a list of things you could get me. This is a list of all the things I want in the world. If you want to get me something, I'd appreciate if you picked something off of the list. Find something in your price range. Find something along the lines of what you're planning on getting anyway. It'll be on there somewhere. My Amazon wish list is massive, and it ranges from stuff that's a £5 to stuff that's £1,000. And it's there for anybody who I know who wants to get me a gift. They can have a look on there and they know it's a gift I'm going to appreciate. The only person who doesn't follow the list is Anna, because as she will always tell you, she knows what I want better than what I know what I want, and she is usually right. So she's the one who knows me well enough to be able to go off list. Everyone else, it's best to go on list. And if you're not comfortable with the list, or family members aren't comfortable with a list, vouchers are easy. Because at least then you can get yourself something you want and you don't have to look disappointed on the day. And on the note of presents as well, if you hate presents being wrapped, mention it. Just let your family know you don't like presents being wrapped. I'm sure it's not going to be an issue for any of them to not wrap your gifts for you. If you explain why you don't like them being wrapped, or ask if you could know what they are in advance, and then as long as you know what they are, you could still have them wrapped and still open them, so you can go through the sort of rituals of opening presents if that's what your family enjoy doing. But if that's going to cause undue stress for you, just ask to know what they are in advance. It's about educating the people that you're spending Christmas with, because the response to that could be something along the lines of, oh, well, that's going to spoil the surprise. Yeah, it might spoil the surprise for you, but for me, it will make the whole day much less stressful. It will lower anxiety levels, and surprises are awful. So it's better to spoil the surprise. Thanks. You don't have to tell anyone else who's here. Just let me know. But that brings me to the end of my list. Like I say, there's a few that have been sprinkled in there with a little bit of my own personal experience. The majority of that has come via the National Autistic Society. So massive thanks to them for providing such great resources that I can steal and turn into YouTube content. Please repay them by going and checking out their website if you do want more information, because like I say, 90% of this video has come from them. But I think it's a video that I needed to make because so many people were asking for it, and I think it was better for me to do it this way rather than trying to just make it up myself, because I didn't want to get it wrong. I didn't want to offend people, and hopefully I've not done that. Let me know what you think down in the description below. But if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for us. Subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this, plus lots of other wonderful videos as well. And thank you very much for watching.